Good morning, people. How are we doing out there? How are we doing? Good to see you here on a lovely Tuesday. Ha ha ha! Look at that. What is going on, people? Today is our last day with supply and demand, and it's not going to take too long. I only have 2 slides to show you, and then you guys are going to be doing supply and demand quiz on GoFormative. All right, you don't have to finish today. If you're not ready for it, you can study during that time. But I'm pretty tired too. Hey, did you guys see that we had snow last night? We had a little bit of snow last night. It's happening. Pretty crazy. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. What's going on with you guys? All right, hold on, let me turn the music back to something different here. All right, yeah, people, I feel kind of out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I feel out of it. Yeah, we had a little bit of snow. It's crazy. It's like covering my Jeep. Well, I wouldn't say it's like a half inch or anything, but like you can see it. It's pretty crazy. Last night was the last day of tennis since quarantine starts tomorrow. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. All sports are canceled, right? Kind of comes at a good time though, people. It's not like in the summer where like there's a lot of things to do and stuff, right? It's kind of like getting cold and stuff, right? I can be cooped up in my house. That's fine. I'm cool with it. And you beat your coach? No way. No way. All right, people. Some announcements. All right. Today, yes, we're going to take the supply and demand quiz. After we take care of the lesson today, we'll hop into Google Meet. I'll get you guys on GoFormative if you're not familiar with it. Many of you guys have used it before, especially in your math classes. And then you guys will have the opportunity to start your supply and demand quiz. It is 20 questions, and you can work at your own pace. You do not have to finish this today. I repeat, you do not have to finish the supply and demand quiz today, all right? I will make it due. I'll make it due up to like Friday. I really don't care. I want you guys to do good on this, all right? I don't care how long it takes you. Do good on this. Do not rush through it because it is summative points, and you've only had 2 other assessments that were summative points. Okay. Now you will have another one that we're going to start doing on Thursday with market structures. So you will have another summative performance assessment at least. But yeah, it's kind of big time points. The supply and demand quiz. So be ready for it. Okay. Also, I want you guys to check your problem set 1.5 answer key. I will post that after I get you guys on GoFormative. I gotta make sure it's finished. I don't think I have it finished yet. And then yeah, look at that, before you submit your quiz, and use that as a little bit of practice and make sure your 1.5 is pretty good. Hopefully you finished 1.5 already. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for the announcements. Let's get to some attendance in the chat. All right. It says, besides graduating, what is your number 1 goal for your remaining time in high school? Besides graduating, what do you want to accomplish in your next year or 2 years, right? Whether you're a junior or senior right now, what do you want to accomplish before you leave GBHS? What's your number 1 goal other than just graduating, right? What is the legacy you're gonna leave behind? What is the legacy you guys want to leave behind? They've got no internet problems today. It's nice. It was like only this class. It was like when they like re-kicked it on, Everything else is smooth yesterday, which is pretty good. Hey, you guys better get your attendance in the chat. I don't think we're having our whole class participating over here. Do I need to make it assigned points? Do I? Really? Because I can. I don't want to though. It's kind of lame. Ooh, the NHS tutoring lab is now open. If you guys want virtual tutoring, that's open. What else is some good updates for you guys? Yo, I gotta look into next Wednesday. It says remote day. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's like this and it's like a half day, or like it's like remote like it used to be like in the spring, right? Like, are we meeting next Wednesday or not? I gotta figure that out. I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if your teachers have told you yet, but it's pretty unclear at the current moment. All right. Let me look at some of these responses here. All right. All right. So Erwin says not failing French. Hey, Erwin, I took 4 years of French. I can help you out. What you need? What you need? Being pretty fluent in German. Pretty sweet. I don't know a lot of German. I do not know a lot of German. I know like some words. Hans knows some German though. We can ask him. Lexus says improving my art. I don't know if there's a lot to improve there, Lex. It's pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty insane. Having a good senior prank. Hey, Gavin. Make sure you don't cause any damage. All right. Wait, Gavin, are you a senior right now? We do have some seniors in the class for sure. I know we do. We usually have a fair bit. Just how scheduling kind of works out and whatnot. Kyle says that state championship ring. Aiden says the same. To pass chemistry. To pass this class? Or pass a class? People, graduating means you're passing your classes. Passing all my classes and making it to the state championships senior year since it got canceled this year. Emma, what sport are you talking about right now? What sport are you talking about? Commit to a college. What's up, Caitlin? We missed you yesterday, you know. Have a good grade. People. To pass Algebra 2. Okay, pass. Not failing any more of my classes. People, in order to graduate, you have to pass. I said not graduating. Right? Other than graduating. What else do you want to do? You're killing me, guys. You're killing me, you know? You know? That's it. That's it. I'm gonna have to give you guys like questions that require a full paragraph response. Man. All right, people. Let's get into some price controls, and this is good news for a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys are like, oh my gosh, supply and demand is hard, Mr. Moore, and I'm ready for supply and demand to be over. All right, I get that. I know supply and demand is pretty tough. I know, but we're gonna finish it up today, and you're gonna see kind of the level of questioning here in a second of what you are required to know in terms of supply and demand. Marching band, and we made it every year, but we couldn't do it this year. And I'm adding having a good snowboarding season too. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. Yeah, our band's pretty good. Our band's pretty insane. Yeah. You know, yeah. Since you couldn't go to states this year, it doesn't really count, right? You know, it doesn't really count. You're still undefeated, all right? All right, people. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. This groovy music must come to a close. All right, so today, people, we're going to talk about price controls, right? So what we've been looking at so far is supply and demand in a competitive market, all right? If you wish to learn more about supply and demand, I would urge you to take my AP Microeconomics class, right? And you really need to get a full picture on how markets actually work. The supply and demand market we're learning about is a market if a market is 100% competitive. In real life, it doesn't actually happen like that. In real life, there is no 100% competitive market, right? But like this is the basic supply and demand that everyone starts to learn about first, and then as you learn more economics, you sort of venture into more realistic markets, I guess I could say. All right. So what we're going to look at now is if government gets involved in a very competitive market, what is going to be the result of that? Right now, we're going to look at a third party. Right, we have two parties. We got buyers and sellers. Right, and now we're going to look at if the third party enters into the equation, what's the purpose and what's also going to be the unintended consequence, perhaps. Right. So we're going to be analyzing price controls. What we're going to be looking at is if government seeks to control the price of any particular good, what is going to be the result of that? Right. So it says, who likes the idea of having a price ceiling on gas so prices will never go over $2 per gallon? Wait, what is the price of gas right now? Mr. Moore's filled up his Jeep like one time since COVID. I can tell you guys that much. Let me see. Let me see on the other monitor here. People, it's less than $2 now. It's crazy. Mr. Moore, do you live in a basement? Yes, I do. It's less than $2 now. It's crazy. People, it's like $1.85. That's how much gas costs now, right? I got to update my slides. All right, hold on. Let me update my slides real quick. Who would like the idea of gas never going above $1 per gallon? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like usually when I teach this, like gas is like $2.85, $3. I've taught when gas was greater than like $3.50. I feel like. All right, it's pretty crazy. So anyway. Who likes the idea of having a price ceiling on gas so prices can never go above $1 per gallon ever, right? If gas, it's illegal for a gas station to charge more than $1 per gallon, right? Would you guys like that idea? Would you guys like that? Would you be in favor? Would you support a price ceiling, a price cap on gasoline where it never would allow gasoline sellers to sell a gallon of gasoline more than $1 per gallon, right? Many of us would be like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I don't like paying a lot to fill up, my car, right? Or my truck or whatever, right? So yeah, I'm all in favor of paying lower prices, right? However, there's going to be some consequences of doing that. What's going to happen is it's going to result in a shortage. It's going to make it more difficult for you to be able to get gasoline. All right, so here we go. We got supply and demand. We're graphing gasoline. I put numbers on the graph. Probably the first time we've seen numbers on the graph. And we're going to put that price ceiling on our graph. Now, what is a price ceiling? A price ceiling is the maximum legal price a seller can charge for a good, right? The maximum price a legal seller can charge for a good. Now, most goods, there is no ceiling and there's no floor. There's no maximum price that a seller must, abide by, right? Most goods, there's no rules whatsoever, right? But there are some goods out there that there's a maximum price that can be charged for a good, all right? So let's put that right. Let's put a price ceiling out there on gasoline, and this is called a binding price ceiling, right? The word binding means it's actually gonna alter the market, right? A price ceiling by definition just means the maximum legal amount of a seller can charge, right? I can put this price ceiling anywhere on the graph. I can put it at $8. Oops. I can put it at $6. I can put it at $4. I can put it at $2. Or I can put a price ceiling wherever. Where the price ceiling at doesn't make it a price ceiling. Right? If I put a price control below equilibrium, it doesn't simply make it a price ceiling. A price ceiling just means this is the maximum amount that's legally can be charged. Anything above the ceiling is illegal. So what I like to do is I like to scribble out all these other prices, right? A gasoline seller can't charge a price of $4. They can't charge a price of $6. They can't charge a price of $8. That would be illegal. So the maximum they can charge is $2. That's what a price ceiling means, right? So what price are they going to charge? They're going to charge the highest possible price they can legally charge. That's less than $4, which would be $2, right? They want to sell here. They want to sell at the equilibrium price. That way, there's no shortage or surplus. But they're going to be forced to sell at $2. So what's going to happen is price is going to be $2. It kind of works a lot like the same way as when we changed the price, and then we went to go look at quantity demand and quantity supplied, and we tried to figure out is there a shortage or a surplus. Same thing here, right? If we put a binding price ceiling on here, it's going to result in a shortage. And how do I know that? All right, well, here's the price of $2. I'm going to draw a line going all the way across. I'm going to notice that it's going to hit my supply curve here. So I'm going to label that quantity supplied, right? Which I didn't, but it's there, right? So we're going to get 20 units brought to market at a price of $2. Notice the law of supply says when price decreases from $4 to $2, right, 10 less units are going to be brought to market. Law of supply. When price goes down, quantity supplied will also decrease. There's less incentive to bring that product to market at a lower price. Less profit will be gained. All right, and then on a price of $2, notice it hits my demand curve here. Kaboom! Right. So I'm going to get 50 units. That's how much units are consumers are willing and able to buy. Right. Consumers at such a low price, they're willing and able to buy 50 units. Again, we can see the law of demand. The law of demand states when price goes down, people are willing and able to buy more units, and that is evident here. Right. We go from 30 units demanded to 50 units demanded. So again, that's going to be a shortage. People want 50 units, but we're only going to have 20 units brought to market. In this case, we're going to have a shortage of 30 units. You have to do that on your supply and demand quiz. Right? If I give you price as this, not at equilibrium, you got to tell me is it a shortage or surplus, and then how many units. Right? It's the difference between quantity demanded and quantity supplied, or quantity supplied and quantity demanded. Right? People want 50 units, and we're only going to get 20 units brought to market. The shortage is 30 units. Okay? All right, So like, why would government do this, right? Government would do this to help out consumers, right? That to make gasoline more affordable, right? Maybe if gasoline was insane, right, like very high price, and consumers are paying a majority of their income on gasoline and not on other goods and services, right, that we want consumers to buy, this is when government would enact a price control. I believe government did enact a price control on gasoline during the stagflation of the 1970s, I want to say. Other examples of price ceiling is rent control, right? In big cities, there's rent control. I know there was rent control in New York, and there still might be. There's a cool Seinfeld episode I like to show students, but it's kind of difficult to show you guys like this. But like if rent is too high in a city, again, what does government want people to do? Government wants people to be buying goods and services, right, in that local economy. And if people are spending most of their money on rent, they're not buying Subway sandwiches, they're not buying t-shirts, they're not buying coffee, right? We want people spending money in the local area so local businesses have more revenue. If local businesses have more revenue, right, they hire more workers, right? And more workers have more money, they can buy more goods, virtuous cycle, right? So that's the intention of a price ceiling. But the problem is, if you put a price ceiling in the market, it's going to result in a shortage, right? People are willing to pay a higher price to get it, and they're not even going to be able to get it, is the idea. So who does this benefit, right? It benefits the people that were able to get these 20 units at a lower price, right? Some people are going to be benefited, right? Some consumers are going to be benefited, right? Those that got their actual gasoline and they paid $2 opposed to $4, right? They're obviously going to be happy. But there's a lot of people that are willing to pay $4 for gasoline, and they're not going to be able to get it in this market, right? Because not enough quantity is going to be actually brought to market here. So that's the problem. So it says, does this policy actually help consumers? That'd be the intention, right? Is to help consumers. Well, it helps some, but others it does not help, right? If they can't even get the quantity. So what typically happens if you enact a price ceiling, a binding price ceiling in a competitive market, is going to result in something called a black market, right? An underground market, right? A market that cannot be seen, an illegal market, right? Like black market organ trading, right? Or black market, legal drug trading and things like that, right? What's going to happen is if we enacted a price ceiling on gasoline, people, right, would probably hurry up and buy all this gasoline at $2, right? And then they would flip it for $4. That's what would most likely happen, right? People would just go fill up a bunch of little gas tanks and then sell it to their friends at a higher price. That's what a black market is, right? Illegal market. Okay, so yeah, that's what a price ceiling is. By definition, is the maximum legal price a seller can charge. A binding price ceiling has to be below equilibrium to have an effect, right? If I put a price ceiling up here at $6, that's not going to do anything, right? If the maximum legal price in this market is $6, people are still going to buy and sell at $4, right? So for it to actually have an impact, it has to be below equilibrium. And then, it's going to benefit some consumers. It's going to hurt other consumers that can't get it. It's always going to result in a shortage if it's binding. And typically it's going to result in black markets, all right? So again, to be binding, to have an impact, a ceiling has to be below equilibrium, okay? Alrighty. A price floor is the opposite, obviously, of a price ceiling. A price floor is the minimum legal price that can be charged for a good, right? The minimum legal price that can be charged for a good, right? Sometimes, in some markets, we don't want price to be too low. Right, in agriculture, we don't want price to be too low. We need farmers, right? We have less and less farmers that are being farmers, right? We need to ensure that enough food is produced and supplied in any given year, especially corn, right? We use corn in everything, right? Lysine, right? High fructose corn syrup. Pretty much everything we consume has high fructose corn syrup in it, unfortunately, right? So we need to ensure that food prices are relatively low, so we need to ensure that enough food is produced, so like corn and things like that, there's enough incentive for farmers to go and produce corn, right? So we have a lot of corn to keep food prices low, even though the price of corn would be artificially inflated, right? So a price floor would be the minimum legal amount, right? So for a price floor to be legal, to be binding, it has to be set above equilibrium, right? In other words, a price of $4 is the minimum legal price that can be charged. All these other prices less than $4 would be illegal, right? It'd be illegal to sell corn at 3. It'd be illegal to sell corn at 2. It'd be illegal to sell corn at 1. All right. So what's going to happen? Right, all these prices are illegal. Scribble it out. So notice my price hits my demand curve here, so that's gonna be the quantity demanded. And notice the law of demand, right? If price goes from 3 to 4, people are gonna be like, you know what, I don't want to buy as much, right? People buy less at higher prices. And then if I follow that line going across, I notice it hits my supply curve here. That's going to be quantity supplied, and at a higher price, farmers are like, wow, like if I can sell price at $4 instead of $3, that sounds more profitable to me. I'm going to bring more corn to market, right? So quantity supplied increase, that's the law of supply. So what's going to happen here is we're going to have a surplus of 20 units. A binding price floor will cause a surplus. A binding price ceiling will cause a shortage. Right? Surplus is going to happen because, again, quantity supplied is greater than quantity demanded. So again, what's the goal? It's to keep price high, to keep people in business, right? To keep farmers, to keep farming corn profitable, all right? But who's going to benefit and who's going to be hurt? Well, consumers are hurt, right, because they got to pay higher prices for corn. And are all producers going to be helped? Well, some producers will be helped, right? There's some corn farmers here, right, they're going to be able to sell off their quantity that they produce, right? Whoever was able to sell these 20 units at a price of 4 opposed to a price of 3, right? Some farmers are going to be very happy. But there's also going to be a lot of farmers that are going to produce these 20 units of corn, right? And they're going to sell their corn for $0 because no one's buying them, right? That's a surplus. So obviously if you produce corn, that's a cost, right? It costs money and time to produce corn. And if you are unable to sell your corn, because the price of corn is too high due to a price floor, you're going to make $0, right? You're going to go out of business. So what happens is the government is going to have to buy the surplus. The government's going to have to buy the surplus, the excess corn from these corn farmers. And that typically is what's going to happen here, right? The government's going to buy out the surplus and then use that for whatever, right? Donate it or etc. Right? So that's the idea of a price floor. A realistic good is like a poor school example, I would say, is liquor in the state of Michigan, right? Liquor in the state of Michigan is a minimum legal price, right? If you ever drive by like a party store, like a liquor store, you usually see big signs that says state minimum pricing here. State minimum pricing, right? If you want to get liquor, this is the lowest price you can possibly find it at because it's the lowest price we can legally charge for it, right? Is the idea. And again, why is that, right? We don't want liquor to be too low in price, right? We don't want people abusing it and using it a lot, right? So the government sets a price floor on liquor, and I don't know how it's like determined. It's like alcohol percent by fluid ounces. I don't know, right? But yeah, liquor definitely has a state minimum price. What else has a state minimum price or federal minimum price? I don't know, but yeah, right. So does this policy help corn producers? Help some. It'll help all as long as government buys a surplus, right? So it says to have an effect, a price floor must be above equilibrium. For a price ceiling to have an impact, it must be below equilibrium. Okay? All right, people, that's pretty much it. That is it with supply and demand. We've done everything, right? We've done supply, we've done demand, we've looked at equilibrium, we've looked at disequilibrium, we've done double shifting, we've looked at elasticity, and now we just finished up doing price controls, all right? All right, so people, I'll see you guys in Google Meet. You can take a 5-minute break if you need to, because I got to get everything kind of set up for that, so it's not a big deal if you take a 5-minute break. And then at 9:28, I want to see you guys, and I'm going to get you guys logged on to GoFormative, and you guys will have a good 30 minutes to at least start your test or quiz. I don't want to scare you, quiz, all right? So I'll see you guys here in a